This is Decoding Learning Differences with Kimberlyn Lavelle, and this episode is Uncomprehending Clarissa, a case study. My poor dear Clarissa was really struggling in some ways and not in others. So developmentally, she started speaking on time, was not delayed in her communication. She's social, gets along well with others, has a lot of friends, looks forward to being with people. They look forward to being with her. No social concerns, no articulation issues. All of her speech sounds are easily understood. Not a problem there. And when she's reading, if you give her something close to grade level, she could read it. But she couldn't understand it. Her comprehension was far below where her reading ability was. And if you tried to give her instructions, simple, grab a piece of paper and a pencil and come sit down. What? And it's not that she was trying to be defiant. She just did not know what you just asked her to do. She could not follow two-step instructions. I would literally have to say, grab a piece of paper. Then after she did that, grab a pencil, sit here. If I tried to give her even two of those things at the same time, she got confused. Unless it became part of her routine. If it was always grab paper, grab pencil, and then sit here, then she could start to do it because it was part of her routine. She was expecting it already. But anything that was different, she had no idea. It took a lot of practice and things to get her to be able to understand. So what did we do for her? We assessed her for a language processing disability. So a speech-language pathologist did an assessment and then did find that she did have a language processing disorder, and so she started speech and language services. So she had some academic services, she had the speech language services, and then that together really helped. It allowed the language part of it to be addressed and reinforced and practiced and worked on, and then it allowed me to work with her in the reading comprehension. So reading comprehension, we had her reading texts in chunks. Don't try to read the whole thing. We're just going to read this. That text is several years below her reading ability level, just straight reading. It's easy for her to read it, and she would read it multiple times. So we're practicing just understanding one or two sentences at a time. We're working on visualization strategies. So part of that is just conversations, asking her questions. What does that look like to you? What do you imagine when you hear the fish swam in a fishbowl? What does the fish look like? What does the fishbowl look like? We would also pair that with art. Draw out what that looks like. We might act something out. When it says the fish splashed, what does that look like? You show me what it would look like to splash. So getting her to really visualize what she's reading helped her to understand what she was reading. And it was a practice that she just wasn't automatic for her. So she needed that explicit instruction in how to visualize what she was reading. We also had to make a lot of connections for her, make sure that she understood all of the vocabulary that she was reading, and give her a little time to work a little bit deeper on some of those concepts. So, if it's talking about frogs, that she's got some books about frogs, or we're Googling things about frogs and making sure she knows what does it look like? What are they talking about? Because if you don't have that background knowledge, it doesn't make any sense to you. So we're working through all of that. And we really want to be using her interest because she already has background knowledge on things she's interested in, and she cares about the things she's interested in. She's motivated to learn and read about and understand the things that she's interested in. So we're trying to choose books that she wants to read, stories about things that she's interested in. We're focusing on using her interest to really build those connections. So Clarissa is now able to comprehend what she's reading. Her comprehension has come a long way because of all of these strategies. So your takeaway for today is that reading comprehension can be very difficult for some kids, and it requires a variety of strategies to be used. Gotta get creative in how we do it, and we've got to think through what motivates them, things they're interested in. What helps them to be successful in comprehension? Well, they need to know the vocabulary. They need to have the background knowledge. They need to be able to visualize. How can we support all of that? So we're using all of those strategies to help build and support and help Clarissa and kids like her to make progress. So if you have a child who is struggling with learning in any way and you want a little support in that and figuring out, what do I do about it? How do I help them? You can work with me to help overcome your child's difficulties. You can find me at yourparenthelp.com and look up the services there and contact me through there. Or you can email me directly, kimberlyn@decodinglearningdifferences.com. I would also love to hear from you. If you have experienced any reading comprehension difficulty with your child and what was working for your child, and I always love hearing stories. So email me, kimberlyn@decodinglearningdifferences.com. I can't wait to hear from you, and I'll talk to you again next week.